So we are reading the chapter about the renunciation of Kardama Muni. A very nice section of the Bhagavatam. How Kardama Muni and Devavati, the princess of Swayambhu Manu, they performed austerity in devotional service, and by virtue of that they could get Kapila Muni, Kapila Deva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as their son. So it's a very unique thing, correct? Because generally we all take birth in this world according to our karma, our activities in our past life. We are forced to take birth. But whereas in case of Krishna, the Supreme Lord, he agrees to take birth in a particular family. So, Krishna also says in the Bhagavad Gita, 4th chapter, 6th verse, Ajo api san avvayatma bhutanam ishvaro api san prakritim swamadhisthaya sambhavami atmamaya. He comes out of his own sweet free will. He is not forced to take birth. So here, seeing the devotion of, and it's all Lord's plan only. We know we were reading in this earlier chapters also how Kardama Muni was approached by Lord Brahmaji, and Brahmaji's purpose is to increase the population. So all these things we read. So now Lord has appeared, and these verses, last few verses, Kardama Muni is speaking. So I'll just touch upon last two verse translations. Actually flowing in continuation of that. In the 28th verse it is mentioned, after many births, mature yogis by complete trance in yoga endeavored in secluded place to see the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of God. So real yoga means you should come to that platform of seeing the lotus feet of Lord. We always talk about lotus feet of the Lord. Surrender to the lotus feet of the Lord means, Prabhupada explained, we should follow the instruction given by Lord in the Bhagavad Gita and the Srimad Bhagavatam. Again and again, if you see, it is brought to the bhakti or devotional service only. Because only by bhakti we can achieve Krishna. So Prabhupada in that small purport also is bringing, see this verse also says, Bau Janma Vipakvenam. So similarly Prabhupada brings this. Beautiful actually, Prabhupada's presentation. Actually what we can understand otherwise, this Sanskrit and all these things. It's very tough actually. Particularly this chapter, this Sankhya Yoga means Prabhupada, in fact, in the Bhagavatam, 1st canto, 3rd chapter, 10th verse, Kapila Muni's incarnation is also mentioned there. So we know people are familiar with Dasa Avatara. So in the 3rd chapter of the 1st canto, around 24 incarnations are mentioned. So at the conclusion, so in the 1.3.10, Kapila's instruction is also mentioned. The small purport Prabhupada writes, the purpose, just like the scientists, they break all the elements. So it teaches, Kapila Muni came to preach the metaphysics, Prabhupada says. Etymologically, Sankhya means, Prabhupada says, metaphysical physics. The physicists, they break all this, correct? But they stop at some point. They talk about all the metal elements, 24 elements. Then they don't talk about soul, super soul, all this thing. So Kapila Muni, he explains all these things to his mother Devavati. We'll read in the chapters following by. So, there Prabhupada takes this opportunity and he says, Bhaunam Janmanam Ante Jnanamam Prapadyate. After many, many births, Bhaunam Janmanam Ante Jnanamam Prapadyate. Who surrenders to Lord? See, only few people are here in Ahmedabad temple today. What is the population of Ahmedabad? Though they are all busy in so many other things, correct? So somehow by our costless mercy of Srila Prabhupada or Parampara, our Acharya, we got to know something, little knowledge, little flash we have come to know. So Krishna says very clearly in that Bhagavad Gita, Bhaunam Janmanam Ante Jnanavam Ma Prapadyate. A person who is in knowledge, not Ajnanavan, not a person in ignorance. Why? Vasudevam Sarvamiti Samahatma Sudurlabha. He knows that Vasudeva or Krishna is cause of all causes. That's why he surrenders. See, if somebody says, you surrender unto me, we will not surrender easily, correct? In fact, when authorities also says in the in our temple, and anywhere actually, we immediately will not, will repulse, correct? We don't want to surrender. Why I want to surrender to somebody? I am free man, I can do whatever. But no, Krishna says, and this person who is in knowledge, he surrenders unto Krishna. So Prabhupada developed that in that purport, the same point. So Bhaunam Janmana, after many, many births actually, we can get this opportunity. The next verse, 29th verse, last verse, yesterday you read, I think. Not considering the negligence of ordinary householders like us, that very same Supreme Personality of God appears in our homes just to support His devotees. So, in Bhakti, there is no ahetuki apratiyata ye atma suprasidati. Bhagavatam also says. There is no material encumbrances. Anybody can achieve Krishna, but you have to go through the process mentioned in the Vedic literature, particularly Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. Bhagavad Gita only 700 verses. Krishna very clearly brings out this idea. In the 4th chapter, he is telling about his position. Again, in the 7th chapter, very clearly he is telling. And in the 9th chapter, like that, you go on. And each and every chapter, there is a connect actually. See, for example, Krishna is speaking, we all know, in the Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter, summary of Bhagavad Gita, then Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, then again comes to Karma Yoga, then 6th chapter is Dhyana Yoga. Then the last verse of 6th chapter, 6.47, what is that verse? 6.47, last verse of the 6th chapter. Prabhupada also explained the Bhagavad Gita can be divided into 3 sections. First 6th chapter, 1 section, middle 6th chapter, and last 6th chapter. So what is the last verse of the 6th chapter? Yoginam api sarvesham madgate antaratmanam shraddhavam bhajate yomam sameyukta tamomata. So Krishna is speaking of all the yoga, different types of yoga. Then he is concluding, this is my opinion, Krishna is telling. My opinion is, one who renders devotional service unto me. See, that chapter is actually yoga, dhyana yoga, correct? So, it all culminates in, it should culminate in bhakti yoga. Otherwise, it's all useless labor, Prabhupada says. Shrama, Bhagavatam also says, Shrama eva I kevalam. Correct? So, the same idea is brought out here. So, they are so fortunate. So, Krishna appeared in a grahastha, you can say like a grahastha family there. But who are they? They are all exalted souls. Who can have darshan of Lord? Though we are having actually our process of deity worship and all, daily we are going in front of Lord, correct? But we have not realized that the Supreme Lord, Sakshat Bhagavan Udar Kade actually. We just see the external things. Nice, that is also actually. So Prabhupada says just by appreciating, actually we will become devotee. It's not we have to become big scholars and knowers of Vedic knowledge. Where is the time today to know all these things? So Krishna has made this process very easily. Later on Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, he made it still more easier for us. So in this purport also Prabhupada brings out this point that see, Prabhupada writes one beautiful sentence. In other words, devotional service to the Lord is so easy that even a householder can see the Supreme Personality of Godhead as one of the members of his household, as his son, as Kardama Muni experienced. He was a householder, although a yogi, but he had incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Kapila Muni, as his son. So this is very, very special actually. Prabhupada explains, and our Acharya's teaching, if you see, this is very highest philosophy actually. Generally we go to, like we heard yesterday also in the introduction talk, in the Ratha Yatra, we go to God with a lot of awe and veneration and respect because He is the Supreme Lord. We heard little everywhere. People go and pay obeisance, all these things they do. But here you see, actually Krishna appeared as a son of Devati and Kardama Muni. So Acharya has explained our philosophy, our Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy. We all know the five rasas are there. So in Vatsalya rasa, generally people go to God for some material benefit. Prabhupada always mentioned, just like in Krishna, all religion actually. Why? In Vedas also. The Karmakanda portion, people worship different devata, different god, for getting something in return. Just like an order supply. So Prabhupada says Christians, they go to church. At least they go to church weekly once, correct? That they are very systematic. But they go and pray, Lord, give us our daily bread. So this is also good. Instead of being an atheist, going to Lord, asking, it's a good. But here you see, when you have Lord as your son, you have to serve. You will serve in the Vatsalya rasa. Generally we take God for granted. We want God, it's like order supply, give me this, give me, I'll offer this, all these things are there. But here see, we read in the Bhagavatam how Yashoda Mai, Nanda Maharaj, they are taking care of Krishna like anything. Because they're child. Whenever Krishna goes to forest of Vrindavana, Yashoda always prays, even to Devatas, to give protection to his boy Krishna. But Krishna is the Supreme Personality of God and He is giving protection to all of us, including the Devatas. But in that rasa, in that bhava, they are worshipping. So it's actually a very, who can come in touch with the Lord? It's very, very rare thing. Unless somebody is 100% pure in heart, there's no chance. We cannot touch Lord. So this is the position actually. And then Prabhupada writes, the Lord says, therefore, that He lives neither in Vaikuntha nor in the heart of the yogi, but in the lives where the pure devotees are always chanting and glorifying. Yesterday that Goswami also quoted this verse. Correct? Lord is not in Vaikuntha. We should not think Lord is far, far away. Oh, how can I approach Him? No, He is right there in the form of holy name, in the form of deities, in the form of all these scriptures. So, this is the process. And in today's verse, in the same idea, Kardama Muni said, my dear Lord, who are always increasing the honor of your devotees, you are descended in my home just to fulfill your word and disseminate the process of knowledge. So Lord, if you want to know Lord, there are only two ways. Only to know from Lord, because He has to reveal. We all know how Brahma got this transcendental knowledge. Brahma is the first created being of this universe. So when he appeared, when he was born, it was full, nothing was there, no other living, nothing. He is actually a creator, we call creator, he is a secondary creator. So Lord Vishnu created him, Krishna created him. And we know how Bhagavatam explains, he heard a word from the Akashvani that tapaha, you do tapasya. So Brahma did tapasya for thousands of years according to his scale. And then he could have glimpse of Lord. And in the first verse, the Bhagavatam, first verse, 1.1.1, Bhagavatam says, Thene Brahmaride Adikave. So this transcendental knowledge, the Divya Jnana, which Kapila Dev is going to give to his mother Devati, was given to Brahma by Lord Krishna himself. After purification, after a lot of tapasya. Here also we see Kardama Muni did a lot of tapasya. He was a Muni. So on the request of Brahma, Manu, he got into this, he became a Grahastha. But nonetheless, that because of their strong practice of yoga, culminating in bhakti, devotional service, actually they could get darshan of the Lord. Kardama Muni got darshan of the Lord. Because that's why in the 4th chapter, Krishna is telling his own position. Beautifully is explaining 4.1 to 4.11. We should read again and again actually. Similarly in the 7th chapter, in the 9th chapter, these are all very, very important chapters. This is the foundation actually. So we can know only from Krishna or his pure representative acharyas like Prabhupada who is coming in the parampara, they can give the same knowledge. Because we cannot get this transcendental knowledge by our own way, by our scholarship, by our tapasya, all these things. We have to do all these things. But knowledge we can get easily like that. So, Athashri Krishna Namadi Nabhaved Graham Indriyai Sevon Mukhe Jivado Swayammeya Spurati Ada. See, this transcendental knowledge is revealed. It's not, you can't purchase, just like we can mug up our engineering subject or accounts or medicine, whatever it is. You can mug up and pass exam, you become topper, all these things, fine. But spiritual knowledge is not like that. It has to be given. It has to be given means you should have some qualification. So that qualification is actually bhakti or devotional service. So similarly, Krishna, so Prabhupada in this purport, today's purport he writes, when the Lord appeared before Kardama Muni after his mature yoga practice, he promised that he would become Kardama's son. He descended as the son of Kardama Muni in order to fulfill the promise. So Krishna also is very, very concerned about his devotees. He gives some promise, he will see that he will meet it, whatever it is. He will not bother. That's why Krishna also says in the 9th chapter, Kaunteya pratijanehi name bhakta pranashyati. Prabhupada in many places he explains, Krishna is telling Arjuna to declare to the world that he will protect his devotee. Because sometimes we know Krishna also makes some promise, he breaks some promise also. He is the Supreme Lord. He can do. We know a few instances in Mahabharata. But when a devotee makes a promise, actually Krishna will never break that. Many examples, just like Hiranyakashipu, worshipped Lord Brahmaji, he got so much power and he tried to trick Brahma. Brahma said, I am a mortal being, maybe I am living for millions and trillions of years, according to our calculation. But I am also a mortal being, I am going to die. So we know how Hiranyakashipu tried to trick Lord Brahmaji, no, I should not be killed this way, that way, all these things. So keeping this promise intact, what Lord Brahmaji had given, Krishna did something else, Vishnu did something else, incarnated as Narasimha and killed Hiranyakashipu within a fraction of a second. So, we may be smart, we may try to trick Krishna, but Krishna is super smart. Like you have smart city here, everywhere smart city and all they are developing. So he is a super smart actually. Because he is the original personality of God and he knows everything. He knows past, present, future. That also Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita in the 7th chapter. So like that. So one purpose is given to fulfill the promise given to the Kardama Muni. He appeared. Second thing, Prabhupada, right? Another purpose of his appearance is to distribute knowledge. So this transcendental knowledge, we are all right now in ignorance. Material knowledge is full of ignorance. That's why if you see in the 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita also, verse 8 to 12, Krishna is listing out 19 items of knowledge. Besides that, he says, anything falls beside this is avidya or ignorance. We are all born ignorant. That's why we go to school, college, all these things to acquire some knowledge, correct? So, this transcendental knowledge, Lord wanted to distribute this through Kapil Dev, through Kapila Muni, actually. And when he spoke to his mother, see here also, mother is not thinking, oh, he is my son, what he will teach me. Generally, when we start practicing Krishna consciousness also, whatever little we here and there, we associate with devotees, read something. We try to go and tell our parents, correct, initially, or friends or something. So that is the nature of Krishna consciousness. Something we possess, we get something good things, we want to share with others. So immediately you tell your elders and all, hey, you are teaching me? Like that they respond immediately, correct? But here you see, you will be seeing here that they would think, because they had, through their marriage, they had 9 daughters, and Kapil Muni, the Kardama Muni, in the beginning itself, he told his wife, if this is the situation, so moment you get a son, I'll just walk out. Because he was a Muni actually. And we know after that, Kapila was born and he just grew up and he just left and he went to forest for enhancing his devotional service. So, if you want to practice devotional service, if you want to practice meditation, yoga, like all these things mentioned, it's actually very difficult. Prabhupada in the previous purports, many places he says here, very difficult. You have to go to a solitary place, not sitting in the big city and going for some yoga class or some meditation, pranayama or whatever it is like that, do for half an hour or something. And you go on doing whatever you want according to your dictation of the senses, your mind. That is not real yoga. Yoga means to meditate on the Lord and engage in devotional service. Krishna also says in the Bhagavad Gita, correct? Yada yada dharmasya. Purpose of his descent is, that is there also it is mentioned. Yada yada dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuthana dharmasya tadatmanam shrijamiyam. Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice and predominant rise of irreligion, I descend myself. In the next verse, Krishna says, I come for 2 purposes. Paritranaya sadhuna vinashaya dushkritam. So like that, again and again in different places, Krishna mentions, in the scriptures it is mentioned that why Lord incarnates. And so I was just mentioning, I missed out, Dasa Avatara we know, in the Bhagavatam it is mentioned around 24 incarnation. And in the one of the verses in the end of the chapter, in the first canto, 3rd chapter, Krishna, it is said, Ete chaham sakalapumsha Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Swayam Bhagavan is Krishna only. So, there are many incarnations. And then it says, just like if somebody stands on the shore of the ocean, you can't count how many waves are coming and going. Day in, day out, continuously it goes on, correct? You can't count. Our Prabhupada gives the example of you take a bag of mustard seed. If you want to count how many mustard seeds are there, it's very difficult actually. So Lord takes so many incarnations. In fact, in one place, Prabhupada says there are 84 lakh yoni, 8.84 lakh species, or 8.4 million different forms. In Lord incarnates in all these forms. And his purpose is to deliver them. That is the purpose. Because we are all children of God. We are all turned away from God. We are all suffering in this world. So, just like young kids, young children are there, parents take so much care, utmost care, correct? Nothing should happen, not get hurt, this, that, everything is taken care of. Similarly, we are children of God. Aham bija pradapita Krishna, everything is there in the Bhagavad Gita actually. So, he is very concerned, whatever he says, promises, he does. So, this is how we should understand. Then Prabhupada, in the end of the purport also today, he mentions that how could the honor of the devotee be increased unless Sankhya were meant for devotional service? So different types of yogas are mentioned because not that everybody can surrender to the Supreme Lord. So it comes after many, many lifetimes. So devotees are not interested in speculative knowledge. Therefore, Sankhya enunciated by Kapila Muni is meant to establish one firmly in devotional service. Prabhupada also explained there is one more Kapila, because Kapila Muni is the incarnation of Lord Kapila Dev. So there was one atheist Kapila also. He was also preaching. But that is not, this is the real Kapila because it is mentioned in the Bhagavatam. Real knowledge and Prabhupada ends this purport. Real knowledge and real liberation is to surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead and engage in devotional service. So this is brought out all throughout the Vedic literature. Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is speaking all these different things. And in the last, the 18th chapter, he says, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja. Mam Ekam, surrender unto me alone. Krishna actually is demanding it. Okay, if you see. Because that is his position. We are all foolish. We don't understand that. So, aham tam sarva papebhyo mokshashyami ma suchaha. I will free you from all sinful reaction. Ma suchaha, do not fear. Krishna is guaranteeing, promising, just surrender unto me. So we don't surrender. So these are all very nice instruction. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he appeared 500 years before, Prabhupada explained that Krishna's, this statement of Sarva Dharma was a little heavy actually. Just like, see somebody, some young boy, young girl, sometimes it's a natural thing, actually we love each other. You go to some girl when you are studying in college, maybe, and a lot of boys will be after her, and who is going to win her, something like that, correct? We all, many of us would have done all these things. So you go to that girl, she may not be interested in you. You go to her, you tell, surrender her. She will not surrender easily like that. You can go with a gun to her. Surrender, otherwise I will kill you. So what the boy or girl will do? Okay, I surrender. They just raise the hand. Actually, there is no real love. Surrender means surrender with love actually. Why we are trying to do something for Krishna, for Prabhupada's movement, Prabhupada's mission. So much they have given us. We are lost in this material world. So, this surrender principle was brought out by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in a very lucid way, very simple way. Correct? The 6 guidelines of surrender. In the 2 very important thing is, he says, accepting favorable for devotional service, and one more thing is rejecting unfavorable for devotional service. So we have to accepting favorable for devotional service. Just like Prabhupada says, if you see Kamsa or Hiranyakeshipu, Ravana, they were also in one sense, they were God conscious because they were always thinking of Krishna or Rama like that. But their thinking was not favorable. Anukulena. It was Pratikulena actually. Because Kamsa was always worried because he got a prophecy that the 8th son of Devaki and Vasudeva is going to kill him. So he is waiting for that. So that sort of Krishna consciousness or God consciousness, we should always be lovingly, we want to serve the Supreme Lord. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this can all be brought out. In essence, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given this very simple weapon, very simple formula. Whosoever we are, whatever situation we are in, if you take to the process of chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Just by chanting this Hare Krishna, actually, we can achieve the highest perfection in life. Highest perfection, success of this human form of life is to understand whom we are, who is God, what is the relationship, how we act in this world. We need not give up anything, whatever situation we are in. Be situated there and try to understand the Supreme Lord. Then Lord keeps on guiding us. All begins with this chanting Hare Krishna. So these are the few things. I'll stop here. If anybody has any comments or any questions, I'll try to.
Hare Krishna Mandir. So we have been serving Krishna consciousness movement for so many years. For so many years we are serving Krishna consciousness movement. And your sadhana is like unmatched.
No, you don't. We'll meet individually. Anything connected to this verse you ask. Anything from this verse or something connected with it. That we'll sit.
Just wanted to know for like what are the shortcomings we should take care in our sadhana, especially the beginners. A lot of beginners say good. So
I'm also a beginner only. We are all beginners only. Yeah. So very simple thing actually. It looks like little, somebody is spending so many years in the movement, how is it? Actually, I always mention this in many forums. Amitabh Prabhu is coming today afternoon. So he joined maybe around 40 days before me. And somehow we came to know in ISKCON Bangalore only. So we used to, he is very systematic and from his college days he was like that. So he always had the class, all this thing. Somehow we got our chemistry was matching nicely and we used to talk. He said, how, by then Madhu Pandit Prabhu, Chanchalapati Prabhu were in the movement for 8 years, 10 years and all. So he used to, how they have spent 10 years in movement. How, like that and all. Like that something he used to talk. So now you see actually he has completed more than 3 decades. It is like that. You should have faith and take to the process. We need not manufacture, we need not reinvent the wheel, they say, correct? Everything is given by Prabhupada. Everything is given by our predecessor Acharya. We just follow with little faith. You can see for yourself, things will go on and on and on. So what Prabhupada said, do repeatedly actually. If you see his instruction, he has given many instructions, it compiled in different books format and all. Again and again he brings to these points to this. What are the very important thing Prabhupada says? Follow 4 regulative principles, chant 16 rounds, read my books, associate with devotees, Actually, morning program, if somebody does, to some extent, maybe when you are at home, when you are practicing students, when you are working, doesn't matter. You should take that sankalpa. You take little austerity. Sometime you should, particularly in the early morning hours, whatever time you get up. So, if you spend for these, actually, it's very important. That is our culture. We are turning away from that. If you go back to our parents and all, those days there was no mobile, no phone, no alarm clock also actually. Correct? They are up by 4 o'clock in the morning. And those days, the early days, still they used to see time, sunrise and all. Based on that, they used to figure out timing and all. So for that simple secret is, our life should be regulated actually. We should go to bed early. अभी सुबह 4 बजे उठना है तो एटलीस्ट रात को 9-10 बजे सोना है. आजकल 9-10 बजे ऑफिस से आता है, बिजनेस प्लेस से आता है, नाश्ता करता है, फिर कुछ करता है, 12 बजे खाते हैं. एवरीथिंग इज टॉपसी टर्वी, दैट्स व्हाई. So something wherever we can, we should change our schedule actually. It's very easy. And you will see for yourself. Generally, it's very interesting. You go and ask some devotee when you join, because many of them have come from Bangalore, training and all this. Already 8 years, 10 years, 18 years, 20 years, they say, see, it will go on and go on. There will be some obstacles will be coming on the way. So the sadhu sangha, the association of devotees, actually it's very, very powerful. And we have Prabhupada's instructions are there, its books are there, its purports are there. That's why Prabhupada says, correct, in many places, many lectures, what is the difficulty? Where is the difficulty? Like that, a pure devotee can say, there is no difficulty, it's all in the mind. Our mind is the biggest enemy. Krishna also says in the 6th chapter, mind is our best friend and worst enemy. Prabhupada translate that. So we have to tame our mind, train our mind. That is actually sadhana. See, anything, even the karmis, people who are performing, who are working hard, like you have all these Adanis, Ambanis and all here, nothing come free, no? They work hard from morning till night. Big meeting, this, that and all they're doing, they make good money. So they have that determination. So this determination is very important in spiritual life. Utsaha, Nishchaya, Dhairya, all these things are there in the scriptures. Enthusiasm is very important. So, just like somebody wants to grow in business, he's working hard, he wants to make money. He has achieved one target, immediately he'll double the target. Like that it goes on. Similarly, we should also see how we are chanting, when we are chanting, whether we can increase the number of chanting, whether we can increase the quality of chanting, all these things. One is what Prabhupada has assured. If somebody follows these 4 regulative principles, chant 16 rounds, I will take you back to God. Prabhupada has said all these things. Prabhupada is a pure devotee. Pure devotee says anything, it will work. So we should have faith, we should have confidence, and we should practice. Anything else? So everybody is learned personalities here. Very nice. Very nice opportunity here, associate. Nice deities are there, festivities are there. Actually, we are meant for this thing only. Little work we have to do. Because Krishna also recommends in the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna to keep the body, to maintain the body and soul, we have to work. Everybody has to work. But we have to work in devotion. Karma yoga, dhyana yoga. There should be some connect. Yat karosi, yat asnasi, yat jyosi, dadasi yat. Yat karosi, whatever you do. Yat asnasi, whatever you eat. Jyosi, whatever you give away, do it as an offering to me, Krishna is saying. So that way, human form of life is meant for this, which no other, we cannot achieve in any other form.
Hare Krishna Guru, thank you so much for the association. So the question is that Lord appears in different species, like in Varaha form, he comes in Matsya Avatar. So how he helps the species, the jivas who are entangled in those species, like how he is he helping the fish or in boar incarnation, other boars in that yogi?
Oh, very interesting question. I just mentioned what Prabhupada mentioned. The details I also don't know. The point is, see, somehow if they get connected to the same boar, vara, masya, kurma, like that, just like we get Narsimha very easily, correct? We get connected. Because it's Narasimha. If half man, half lion. So at least we are man, we are woman also. That connect is there. So how they get connected, I don't know. But the purpose of all incarnation in general is to deliver the conditioned soul. That is the main purpose. Otherwise, Lord has nothing to do here. Avatirna, Avatara, today's verse also says. He is in the spiritual world. He has nothing to do in the material world. Material world runs according to his direction. So, but Lord comes. That same thing, to give confidence, to faith, to increase the faith. Lord comes. Okay, we try, Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur said, correct? Lord is a transcendental autocrat. He can do whatever he wants. That is his position. So, Jagannath Prabhu, you want to add something on that? So this is how we should take. In other words, Prabhupada also explained, Lord is eagerly waiting for us to come back to the spiritual world. But we are telling, no, I have a lot of other business to do. We are foolish people actually. Because this world is not a place for gentlemen to live. Dukhalayam ashashvatam, full of miseries. Nobody has to explain to you about miseries, correct? Misery is created by body, mind, words, external, adi bhautik, adi daivik, adi. All these things are there, adhyatmic. Miseries. Material world is designed in such a way. Prison is designed in such a way that you are not meant to be there comfortable. That's why when they go now, even chief ministers sometimes they are put inside, correct? No? So that some film stars sometimes they are put. Some big industrial businessmen are put in that. So when they are put inside the prison, you are inside the wall of this. You are inside the four wall. You just can't escape. That is the power. So we are all free individuals. So yes, Prabhu, maybe last question.
Yes, Prabhu, Rupa Goswami says.
अरे इधर थे अब उधर चले गए. ठीक है.
Rupa Goswami says that 50% of one's earnings should be utilized for Krishna consciousness, 25% for one's obligations, and remaining 25% for emergencies. Now, someone is earning just 15,000, say 20,000. When he reads such instruction, he just can't understand.
Right? What is that? When he earns this much? Yeah.
Some person is earning 20,000 only, and he reads that Rupa Goswami is saying that I should give my 50% to Krishna consciousness movement. So he gets puzzled. He is not able to understand that 20,000 I am earning, 10,000 I give, then I have just 10,000 more. Rent bharna, electricity bharni hai. So he's not.
Yeah, that is actually. See, case to case we have to deal, and these are all some higher instruction actually. Not for everybody. So nothing, Rupa Goswami is, because they were all ministers and all these things, they gave up everything and they joined, drawn by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement, and they gave everything. They are given a principle like this. But you should not tell beginners and all like that, they'll never come here then. So, we just make people chant Hare Krishna. That is the best thing actually. All these things will follow. See, if somebody becomes serious in practicing Krishna, I know many devotees here, congregation, all these things. Yeah, all over actually. So it comes naturally out of this. So you should feel good, correct? So, not at the cost of udhar percentage udhar nahi laga sakte. Oh, फिर क्या करेगा? Then he has to start stealing and all actually to maintain the family. So there are some higher instruction given. The whole purpose is actually, see, Lord is Bhavagrahi Janardana. He doesn't see how much you are giving. Prabhupada says, he sees how much you are holding for yourself. That is important. Like your famous here, Adani, Ambani, and what is the worth? More than 9 lakh crores or something Mukesh Ambani is having. So he will be doing some seva. So Lord is also smart. That's why we always try to smart, we also try to trick Lord. Lord is a super trickster, correct? Prabhupada explains all these things. He knows. So, as you take step towards Lord, He is going to reciprocate. Just like in the Mahabharata, that Vidura and Duryodhana, that Krishna was invited. Krishna chose to go to Vidura's hermitage. He didn't want to. Duryodhana made an elaborate arrangement to receive the Lord. He went to Vidura, very humble hut was there. And Vidura, what he did? He had some banana, he's peeling the banana, he became so ecstatic. Oh, Lord is come here, what I can give? So he threw the banana, he gave the skin to Lord Krishna. Lord, when he ate the pulp, he was so satisfied. So we cannot please Lord by all this external opulence, knowledge, all these things. Wealth. Everything belongs to Him in one place, no? Everything belongs to Him. Nothing belongs to us. So what is the great thing? That's why Krishna says, Bhoktaram Yajna Tapasam Sarva Lokamaheshwaram. He is the supreme enjoyer. Sarva Lokamaheshwaram. He is the proprietor of the entire universe. You may be holding some big money, these things, but what is their Lord's position? So like that, there are some instructions like that. Initially we should not scare people like that. You make them chant, associate, ask them to read Bhagavad Gita, bring them to temple, festival, all these things. For anybody it is appealing actually. Yes, please.
Prabhupada said it is not earned money, it is accumulated money. Prabhupada says it is not about earnings.
Correct.
It says about accumulated money should be given. That means a person is earning, as Prabhu said, person is earning 20,000. His garka kachahi 20,000. From where he will give?
Correct.
It is an accumulated money, means surplus after the expenditure.
Surplus, yeah, this is a good point.
It is accumulated money, not the earnings. So a person makes 20,000 profit after all the expenditure. That 20,000 is 50% for temple, 25% for the emergencies, 25% for the family.
Correct. So like that. So we'll stop here. Already I extended the time, I think. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki. Hare Krishna movement at Ahmedabad ki. Bhaktivedanta ki jai.